For years, we've all kind of looked at crypto as this niche thing, right? A sort of digital Wild West, separate from everything else. But what if that's not true anymore? A new 2025 study is suggesting that crypto is now so woven into our world that its shockwaves are being felt across the entire global economy. So let's dive in and break down what they found.
So this is the big question, isn't it? When Bitcoin or some other crypto has a massive price swing, does the rest of the economy actually feel it? We're going to trace the ripple effects from a trader's screen all the way to the prices you pay every day. And according to the data, the answer is a pretty surprising yes. Okay, so where does it all start? Well, the first and most immediate ripple smacks right into the traditional financial markets. When crypto makes a big move, it just doesn't happen in a vacuum anymore. It sends these waves crashing into stocks and commodities. Now, take a look at this. This chart shows that connection so clearly. See that panel in the top middle labeled crypto? Think of that as the rock dropping in the pond. Now follow the waves over to the bottom left, that's the S&P 500, and the top left, which is a big index of commodities, raw materials. You can see it plain as day. A shock in crypto causes an immediate and lasting jump in both. This isn't just a fluke, it's a direct financial spillover. What happens in the crypto world almost instantly changes the value of huge companies and essential goods.
So just how big is the spillover we're talking about? Get this, according to the study, shocks that start in the crypto market are now responsible for a staggering 18% of all the ups and downs in the S&P 500. That's huge.
And if you think that's a lot, for commodities, we're talking oil, metals, farm products, the effect is even bigger. Crypto shocks are behind 27% of their price swings. The main takeaway here is crystal clear. What happens in crypto definitely does not stay in crypto. And this quote from the study just perfectly captures this new reality. The old thinking was that crypto was a safe bet, right? A hedge, totally separate from the mainstream. But this study argues the exact opposite is true now. It's become so intertwined with everything else that instead of protecting you from risk, it can actually crank it up across the whole system. Okay, so we've seen these massive financial waves. But the real question is, do these waves ever actually hit the shore? Do these market tremors translate into real-world changes for things like jobs and what our factories are producing? Well, the connection to the real economy is there, but it's a totally different animal. It's not like the fast, huge impact we see in the financial markets. The effect on the, real economy of goods and services is much slower and honestly a bit more modest. And you can see it right here in the numbers. Crypto shocks account for about 6.2% of the wiggles in industrial production and just under 4% for unemployment. Now, those are not zero. It means crypto volatility really does have a measurable effect on jobs and output. But it's clearly not the main event. So yeah, the effect is real, but it's not the tidal wave, which probably leaves you wondering, what is the biggest, most significant impact crypto has? Because there is one, and it turns out it's the most surprising finding of the whole study. And here we go. This is kind of the climax of the whole story. This is where we find the most powerful and frankly unexpected ripple effect that crypto is having on all of our lives. So let's just ask it directly. We've looked at stocks, jobs, production, but what is the single biggest, most important long-term impact of crypto shocks on the economy as a whole? It's not the things we just talked about. I mean, those effects are real for sure, but they are totally dwarfed by something way more fundamental to our day-to-day lives. It's inflation. Shocks in the crypto market account for nearly 18% of the long-term changes in the prices we pay for things. Just let that sink in for a second. The wild volatility of digital assets has a direct and serious link to the cost of living, to the price of your groceries, your gas, everything. This, of course, raises a pretty obvious question. If these crypto shocks are powerful enough to influence inflation, what on earth is causing them in the first place? Is it governments? Central banks? What's behind the curtain? Well, the study's analysis points to two main culprits, and they are probably not what you'd expect. You can forget about monetary policy and government regulation. The data shows they aren't significant drivers. The two forces that matter most are pure human emotion, what the study calls sentiment shocks, and real technological progress. And this timeline gives us some perfect real-world examples. A sentiment shock? That's something like Tesla's massive Bitcoin purchase back in 2021, which drove the market up on pure hype. Or on the flip side, the catastrophic collapse of FTX, driven by pure fear. A technology shock is something more fundamental,
like the massive Ethereum merge upgrade, which literally changed the code the whole network runs on. It's hype and code. That's what's making the biggest wave.
So, what does this all add up to? When you start to piece all these interconnected ripples together, you're left looking at a fundamentally new picture of our modern economy. All right, let's just recap the big takeaways here. First, crypto is not its own little island anymore. It's deeply connected to the mainland of the global financial system. Second, because of that, it's now acting as a risk amplifier, not that safe hedge we thought it was. Third, its most powerful long-term punch is on inflation. And finally, these powerful shocks aren't being driven by policy, but by human sentiment and technological breakthroughs.
And this quote from the study's author really says it all. We are witnessing a major shift. The way we've thought about crypto for the past decade, as this disconnected, niche experiment, that's just becoming obsolete. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. We've traced this ripple all the way from a market panic or a tech upgrade through the stock market and right to long-term inflation. If the psychology of this digital market can actually ripple out to affect the price of your groceries, well, maybe it's time we all started paying a little closer attention.